some American somewhere, confident only in the revelations that await. The idea was mad, farcical, quixotic, so I agreed to do it. For the last 3 years, I had been happily roaming Gotham while writing a twice-weekly column for the New York Times called About New York. But a temporary assignment to cover the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in 2005 had given me a glimpse of the larger American story. I chronicled the Gulf Coast communities immersed in mucky black waters, the roads scarred by the hulls of ships storm-muscled onto land, the telltale markings on shotgun house doors indicating date of search and number of bodies found. I had seen these somber symbols before on Lower Manhattan brick and steel. A defining moment came when the Times photographer Nicole Bengevino and I spotted a dead body on a downtown New Orleans street, its feet jutting from a wet blue tarp surrounded by traffic cones. We watched as 6 National Guardsmen strode up to the corpse, 2 blessed themselves, 1 took a snapshot, and all walked away. Shaken by what we had seen, Nicole and I drove on to record other dystopian moments under the hot September sun. With the body still there when we returned in the evening, I reported the situation to a Louisiana state trooper. He explained that he was the one who had placed those traffic cones around the body to keep some news truck from running over it. The next morning, the corpse still lay on the pavement, where it would remain through another hot day and into the dusk of another curfew. How could a corpse be left to decompose like carrion on a downtown street in a major American city? Would this dead black son of New Orleans have been left there for days if he had been white? Hunched over my laptop in the rental car, I wrote what I saw and felt. This was the moment that sparked the idea of a wandering national column. Mad, farcical, quixotic, let's do it. Over a few drinks, a couple of national editors and I struck upon the name of this proposed column, This Land. I'd been raised on the words and music of Woody Guthrie, mostly through the muse of Pete Seeger, a secular saint in my boyhood home, and was perhaps a bit too proud that I knew the lesser-known lyrics to Guthrie's subversive masterwork, This Land is Your Land. You know, about the other side of that no trespassing sign saying nothing, that side that was made for you and me. So began more than a decade on the other side of that sign. Spurred by curiosity and, occasionally, the news, I have crisscrossed the country in a mostly whimsical endeavor that started toward the end of the presidency of Bush the Younger, spanned the entirety of Obama's 8-year presidency, and has dipped now into the startling era of Trump. The many dozens of columns I've written, some of which are included in this collection, have explored American moments small and profound, fleeting and enduring. Columns about a county fair bake-off in Marquette, Michigan, and a bullet fired through the living room window of a black mayor in Greenwood, Louisiana. About the larger meaning of a knockdown telephone booth in Prairie Grove, Arkansas, and the economic struggles of a dairy farmer in Ferndale, California. About a gathering of a group of retired burlesque queens in Baraboo, Wisconsin, and the execution by electric chair of a man in Nashville, Tennessee, a death I witnessed. Filed from every one of the 50 states, these standalone dispatches also fit together, jigsaw-like, into an epic larger than their individual selves. But when combined, what were they telling me? What was the story? In my travels, I am rarely alone, and thank God for that, since I find myself to be miserable company. Sometimes I am with Todd Heisler, a revered Times photographer who covers wars and parades with the same intense dedication of purpose. Or Cassie Bracken, an exceptional Times videographer with a flair for visual storytelling. Often, the person beside me is Nicole Bengevino, whose empathy is evident with every click of her camera and who deserves national commendation for having put up with my road-weary crankiness. But the first photographer to work with me on This Land was Angel Franco of Harlem and the Bronx, whose mild learning issue as a child was misdiagnosed.